How's it going, everyone? Got quite a lot to talk about in this video. We have the PlayStation Plus titles for the month of March rolling out. This is the PlayStation Plus Extra as well as the PlayStation Plus Premium titles. I was kind of down on the PlayStation Plus Extra titles for the month of March, to be honest, and I feel like Plus Extra has left a lot to be desired. I feel like not a lot of people are talking about that. Maybe it's because the luster of talking about PS Plus has kind of just gone away, especially when we talk about Extra and Premium. I feel like I see more and more people just say that they're outright canceling their subscription to Extra or Premium and they're just going with Essential, but we'll run you through the catalog update. I do think it's kind of mediocre, as I mentioned, but PS Plus Premium has some decent stuff, so we'll talk that as well. And on top of that, a major Xbox title hits PlayStation 5 today. It is out right now, and yes, it is major. I don't care if you don't think Hi-Fi Rush is a big title. To me, it's a big title, and I'm sure when you guys play it, if you ultimately do, you'll realize how good of a game it is as well, and we'll talk that in a little bit. Now, before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please like this video and do leave a comment with your thoughts. It really does help out the channel a lot, and it is much appreciated. But first of all, the PS Plus titles for the month of March for Extra and Premium are rolling out right now. Headlined by NBA 2K24 of all games. It is the Kobe Bryant edition, so respect to Kobe Bryant. I believe NBA playoffs are going on right now. Don't quote me on that. I don't follow NBA. I just watch it whenever my boys have it on, and I don't know too much about it, but yeah, there you go. I did play the hell out of NBA 2K6. Back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know anything about basketball, but I did play the hell out of 2K6. That was quite many years ago, so bear that in mind. But 2K24 available on Plus Extra right now. Marvel Midnight Suns added as well. To most people, I think that is the biggest game for the month of March on PS Plus Extra. Marvel's Midnight Suns is a pretty solid addition, given that it came out back in December of 2022. You know, only like, 16 months old, 15 months old, not too old at all. Done by Firaxis Games, the same guys that brought you the great XCOM titles, and it is that same tactics-based game with a little bit of a card game gimmick going on for it as well. What I played of it, I enjoyed. You know, this was a game that was kind of a commercial bomb, and it came out the same day as Callisto Protocol, another commercial bomb, and Need for Speed Unbound, which didn't do all too well. Funny enough, those three games all seemingly underperformed, and then you had the remastering of a PSP game coming out the week following, and that game seemingly did fairly well with Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. So it's kind of funny how, like, the big budget games of that day, December 2nd of 2022, Callisto, Marvel Midnight Suns, and Need for Speed Unbound all underperformed. And then, of all games, Crisis Core FF7 Reunion did fairly well. Now, people did want Crisis Core. I'm going on a tangent. You get the idea. Midnight Suns did not do that great commercially, but the game itself was fairly well done. And if you're a fan of Marvel, if you're a fan of tactics-based games, it's probably a game you'll end up enjoying. Resident Evil 3. Most would consider this to be the weakest of the Resident Evil remake titles. Resident Evil 2 was tremendous, Resident Evil 4 was tremendous, Resident Evil 3 wasn't even bad. It's just not the greatest thing. It seemed like they put a lot of emphasis into the multiplayer component as well, so that didn't turn out all too well. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 is still a worthwhile game to go through, and as a remake, it's still decent, all things considered. It's not like I have a big nostalgic attachment towards the original Resident Evil 3 either, so it's not like I could make the direct comparison that a lot of people do. I can start doing that with like RE4. But for what it was, I enjoyed the Resident Evil 3 remake. Certainly not a game worth $60. Absolutely no way. Next up, we have LEGO DC Supervillains. That has been added. Mystic Pillars Remastered, Blood Bowl 3, Super Neptuna RPG. And then you have Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. The PlayStation 5 version has been added. Seemed like they're kind of double dipping with DBZ Kakarot. DBZ Kakarot had already been on Plus Extra, but it was the PlayStation 4 version. Now, the PS5 version is a legit upgrade. It's a great upgrade in terms of its visuals, in terms of its performance. It's a lot better, and DBZ Kakarot itself is an awesome game that I recommend people to play. Even if you're not the biggest Dragon Ball fan, still give Kakarot a shot. I wouldn't say, you know, it's a good recreation of Dragon Ball Z. They cut out some things that are a little bit jarring, like the entire juiced up Trunks versus Cell. That entire fight was cut out, which is kind of weird. Like, of all fights to cut out, like, Trunks versus Cell, I feel like was a pretty notable fight. Like, why would you cut that out? But, nevertheless, for the most part, they do a good job in retelling the Dragon Ball Z story. There is a lot of DLC content for this game. There's rumblings of a third season pass for this game as well. I feel like it would just be business malpractice if they didn't do a Broly DLC, but, you know, nonetheless, DBZ Kakarot added. It's a great game. R.I.P. Akira Toriyama. Speaking of which, the Sandland demo also recently just dropped. It dropped yesterday. Kind of came out of nowhere, but you can check that out right now as well. Lastly, the Plus Premium titles, Jak and Daxter: The Lost Frontier. This is like the lost Jak and Daxter game that a lot of people don't even know about. It's okay. It's not as good as the main trilogy, but it's still a fairly decent game. You do have the PSP version here, enhanced with up-rendering, rewind, quick save, and custom video filters. You've got cool borders. God Eater Burst, which is kind of a weird one to add. God Eater Resurrection is available on the PlayStation Store, as is God Eater 2 and 3, of course, but nonetheless, the PSP version added there. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. Hate how they do this. These HD remastering collections on Plus Premium instead of Plus Extra. Plus Premium should be reserved for actual old school games coming for the first time to PlayStation, like a Jak Lost Frontier, or games like that. Or if you want to do the PS2 on PS4 games on Plus Premium, that's fine. But actual HD remasterings that were released on PS4, I don't know. I don't feel like that should be the titles you drop there. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R drops in there as well, and then they also added that My Hero Academia Season 1 is available on Sony Pictures Core. So you can check that out as well. My Hero Academia Season 1 is pretty decent. I feel like the anime gets really good once you get to Season 2, though. So there you go with that. That is the PlayStation Plus lineup for the month of March, and it is rolling out right now. By the time you guys are watching this video, probably live already. Lastly, I do want to note, Hi-Fi Rush, available on PlayStation 5 today. If you do buy it with a Plus subscription, you save 10%, so you'll get it for $27. I don't know if that was only for pre-orders or if that's live right now. Whatever. If you're spending $27, if you're spending $30, the game is absolutely worth it. Hi-Fi Rush was legit one of my favorite games of 2023, and I don't know if people thought of it that highly, but I thought it was a damn good game. By the way, you don't save 10% anymore, so you're spending $30, but it's still absolutely worth that price point. Hi-Fi Rush is a great game, awesome music, rhythm, action, combat, which, you know, on the surface you would think might not work, but they do a really good job. Really likable characters. Chai and 808 are a great tandem. The rest of the cast is really strong as well. The story's fairly decent. It's a charming story, and the art style's great. Platforming elements are good. Combat's good. And while the main game, if you go through it, probably can complete it in around 10 to 12, 13 hours, around that range, there's a lot of post-game content, and if you want to go for the 100% completion, it's actually quite the undertaking to do all the content in the game. But even if you just go through the main story, you're getting a worthwhile game here. Remember that this game came out back in January of 2023. It was a stealth release the same week that Forspoken came out. Forspoken, the PlayStation 5 console exclusive, and Hi-Fi Rush was a way better game. Like, it was $30, and Forspoken was $70, and Hi-Fi Rush, even if Hi-Fi Rush was $70, I would still say Hi-Fi Rush is the better game. It's a fantastic, fantastic game, and I hope that Tango Gameworks does a sequel with it. I know Tango is typically doing their horror titles and whatnot, and their horror titles are usually fairly good, but Hi-Fi Rush, I feel like they have something here, especially if moving forward they release it on all platforms. It's gonna do fairly well, and I think it can be an IP that resonates to a certain level. I'm not saying it's gonna be the biggest IP in the world, but I do think it can be a fairly notable one that Bethesda, Tango, Microsoft, everyone involved can get behind a little bit, and hopefully it does fairly well on PlayStation 5 as well. It's also a game that's been holding up in price point quite a lot. Obviously, it's available on Xbox Game Pass, but in terms of buying it, it still goes for north of 20 bucks on Xbox as well as PC. It's available on Steam, of course. But a tremendous, tremendous game. Strongly recommended, and definitely give it a look. You'll enjoy it quite a bit. But that is going to do it for me. Again, PlayStation Plus getting its monthly catalog update. That is going live right now. I think it's a pretty weak update for PS Plus Extra, and I feel like PS Plus Extra has been weak for quite a while. Hopefully, at some point, they can swing the momentum on that. And Hi-Fi Rush available today on the PlayStation Store. Certainly go check that out. I know we're coming up on the release day of Rise of the Ronin and Dragon's Dogma 2, but honestly, if you pick up Hi-Fi Rush today, you could probably complete it by Friday if you do hunker down and just play through it. I mean, the 100%, you're not going to do that, but you know, the base story, you can definitely complete it, and it's worthwhile. 30 bucks is a great price. So that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.